Hello beautiful people, and welcome to today's pick a card reading. Today we are looking at what the person on your mind needs you to know, what they need to tell you, or what they can't tell you but they want you to know. Anything around those energies, that's what we will be looking at today. And we have 3 groups to choose from, 1, 2, and 3. You can choose as many or as few groups as you would like, and feel free to pause the video if you want a little bit more time. Personal readings are available, and there will also be an extended reading for each group. Everything is linked down below. So yeah, that is all I have to say today. So I will leave you to focus on which deck calls to you the most, and I will see you soon. Hello my beautiful pile ones, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking at what the person on your mind needs you to know, what they need to say to you that maybe they haven't said, or that maybe they haven't had the opportunity to say. Anything related to those energies, that's what we will be looking at today. And I wanted to start off with an energy check so you can decide if this is your pile or if you want to try another one or another reading altogether. You do you, but we will start off with this energy check, and we will have some tarot to get through, as well as an extended reading, which we will talk about later on. And before I get into this reading, I want to say I remember this happening one other time throughout the entirety of me being on YouTube and doing collective readings. I put a painting up on my wall that I made next to my desk, and it just fell right as I was sitting down to get started on your reading. And for one, the fact that it's a painting, it's a little collage style painting. Someone could be interested in that for extra confirmation, or you could be artists or creatives. And another thing is that the way I'm interpreting that is, it's like you had this idea of this full picture, of this big picture in this situation. Maybe you were intuitively picking up on something and you were wondering if your intuition is right. You may have felt like you're always being led back to this person. You're always seeing signs about them. Something seems to keep reminding you of them, and maybe them of you. But this will likely be someone that you have felt very, very drawn to on a level that maybe you may not understand or be able to explain very well. It's kind of something you have to really see to understand, to be in it to understand. There is something that is coming through that is very soul-based about this connection, is that like you feel connected to this person at the soul. Like there is more to discover. There is a sense of there being more to see, so many little details to see, maybe so many little hints that you feel you're getting about this person. And yet there is this difficulty in seeing the big picture or the truth of the situation, because I feel for a lot of you there will be kind of a disruption in communication with this person. You could be in no contact completely, or you could be in some form of separation with this person. I do feel for a lot of you, you will have had a lot of almosts with this person. A lot of almost making sense of the situation, almost having that conversation, almost being authentic, vulnerable. There's a sense of like almost getting it, almost being there. But it feels like it's always almost, and there is a sense of frustration because this connection will have likely felt like it has stalled in some way, or you're kind of going in circles with this person because they are not trying to break out of this cycle. They haven't tried to break out of this cycle of just maybe acknowledging each other, or even just kind of they maybe interact with you on social media, but not in a face-to-face context. I feel like a lot of you will have a shared environment with this person, even if this is just social media. But this person will be someone that feels like they are around you and tuned into your energy somehow. Maybe not tuned in, but connected to your energy somehow. But I do feel this is someone you maybe don't feel really understands you, really understands your intentions, really understands where you're coming from. And I'm just realizing I didn't even look at these cards. I just pulled them, so I kind of remember what they are, but let's get into it. Okay, we have the Peacock. This came out in reverse, but we're putting it upright for aesthetic reasons. We have the 9th house. We have fixed, so we have Sagittarius, Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio coming through. We have the Mountain, the Star, more Aquarius energy, or Aquarius season could be significant. We have Twin, Taurus, I have, and a 3rd house, messages, Gemini energy is also present. For some of you, this could be a school or university kind of situation, someone you've studied with, someone involved in your studies, in your field. Doesn't have to be. Again, it's just for extra confirmation, but there is the energy that is coming through. It's very airy, it's very communication heavy, but I almost feel like there are actually a lot of disruptions in communicating with this person, and maybe a lot of the information and knowledge you have on them has been through intuition, or has been through other sources, has been through you thinking about this situation a lot and trying to look at it from all aspects. But there is this sense of distance. That same feeling I got from that little happening of the painting falling off the wall suddenly, I get with the Mountain too. There is like there's a barrier between the two of you, and this could be that this person is coming through as being guarded towards this connection. I think they are very responsibility and structure oriented, and they may not really want to breach that. Like, they are very set in their ways, very rigid about certain beliefs. And I think if you have history with this person and this separation, this distance is the result of something falling apart, a relationship falling through, I feel for a lot of you this is a situation essentially where you thought it could be something in particular. It was very promising. It seems to have potential, but that potential has not been reached, and it seems like things didn't at all play out in the way that you hoped for, the way you imagined, the way you would have wanted, or the way for some of you that this person said that they would. So there is a sense of a mismatch in expectations and the reality of this situation. And even if there has been an ending, this seems like someone whose energy is not really stopped surrounding you. You may feel in some ways pursued by this person and yet pushed away at that same intensity as well. Their actions seem very confusing. For some of you, I think their lack of action is probably very confusing because there seems to be a mismatch either in what they said and what they do, or what they act like, how they treat other people versus how they treat you. It's almost this sense of something that was promised to you was not in the end what the situation turned out to be, because there is a sense of disappointment, and there is a sense of just not really understanding, and like you are stuck at this stage, at this level with this person, even though there has been desire to make progress. And I think for some of you that desire has been to progress without this person, yet something has maybe kept you coming back to them For some of you, this person could be someone that has really hurt you with what they weren't doing, especially, rather than what they were. So it seems that this person would likely have more of an avoidant, an escapist kind of tendency, rather than someone who just head-on faces things and speaks their mind. Even though I think in other contexts, they are someone who is quite straightforward, someone who can come across like just very honest, very authentic. But I feel that that is a little bit of a mask, because this person does value how they are perceived by other people. Maybe they are in some position of leadership or authority for some of you, or maybe they aim to be. This is someone who has big ideas, big dreams for themselves. However, there is also this energy of them pulling themselves down and holding back, kind of staying anchored in the same space. Like they have all these dreams that they talk about, but they're not actually going after them. And maybe this is a bit of a trend with this person where they express interest in things, where they express desire for certain things. They have dreams, fantasies, wishes, hopes, but they just don't go after them. And I think that is partly because this person feels tied to their current situation, whatever that may be. A career, a study. For some of you, this person could have a family or could be in a commitment. Any type of commitment, not necessarily romantic. But it just seems like they see themselves as someone who has a place they need to be at, and that means not changing things. But I also feel this fear of change. Well, I feel this is a fear of change that actually is stopping this person from going after what they would really want and making changes, because they would rather have stability and security and look out for themselves than be swung in a direction where they don't know what to do, where it's an entirely new situation. This is someone that maybe feels more comfortable repeating the same types of situations, the same types of settings, rather than try something new. And I'm just noticing now that maybe YouTube will not like this. So I'm just going to put that over there and I will take care of it while I'm editing. But the fact that I kind of put this card here for the last 10 minutes or whatever, and then just now I am deciding, oh, maybe this is too much. I feel like for some of you, this person could have given you, like, shown you more initially, and now they've kind of pulled back, pulled away. There's a sense that they're hiding in some ways. They're suddenly covering up when they were more open, more authentic at some point. But I feel that was maybe not really intentional. It's just that they may have acted a little bit recklessly, which I feel is out of character for this person. Like they almost gave too much away. And this doesn't necessarily have to be that, like, you were intimate with this person or you were in a full-on relationship. I feel like for a lot of you, this would have been a little bit more of a situationship type of energy, where this person was opening up or showing signs of wanting to or telling you that they want to, but then suddenly it seems like they would have gone cold. Things would have taken a sudden turn that is very hard to understand, or maybe this is just a pattern where they go kind of hot and cold. But the common ground here, regardless of the exact logistics of your situation, is that this person seems to have kept you hanging. Maybe a little bit of giving you false hope about who they are, what they can go after right now, what they can pursue right now, what they want right now. I feel like there's just been a lot of confusing signals from this person, a lot of mixed signals. And one day you may feel, okay, I know what's going on. I feel this intuitively. And the next day you may be like, wait, I have no clue at all what this person wants, what's happened here, what I'm supposed to do. I think there is a lot of confusion on your end as well. And I also feel you should know that this person is confused too. Not that that necessarily means it's good or the best way to go to avoid or hide, but I do feel this person is someone who is aware of you, even if they are acting like they don't really pay any attention to you. Like, there is something mismatched in that sense. But there is just a bit of keeping up appearances and maybe feeling a little bit of this person, they feel conflicted about you and about about this kind of intuitive potential they feel with you, because a part of them seems to know that this is the type of connection that would take real vulnerability, real intimacy. The way that it feels, I think, feels out of the ordinary for this person. They see you as someone that they feel very connected to, someone that it's hard to even get it out. I'm suddenly pausing a lot and hesitating a lot when I speak, and I think this person is very hesitant. I think they have doubts about this connection, and maybe that's not what you want to hear, but I think there is just this looming potential that maybe you and this person have been on the verge of exploring a few times, maybe many times, but you just haven't really gone there. That's what it feels like. So for a lot of you, I think when things were getting real, this person would have maybe blocked you, put their guards up, stopped communicating with you. For some of you, this person could have suddenly gotten into another serious commitment when things seemed promising. But I want to get into the tarot now. I realize now that it has been a while since we started this reading. It's been more than 17 minutes. So let's get into the tarot and get a better idea of what this person wants to tell you, what they need you to know. I'm seeing the Page of Swords when I cut the deck, so I think there are some things this person would ideally want you to know. However, they're coming through so avoidant. So why am I suddenly thinking of the Lord of the Rings? Okay. But let's see, what does this person need my pile ones to know? What does this person need my pile ones to know? We have the Ten of Cups in reverse. They're not happy with how things played out. They are not. They may look happy, they may look satisfied, they may look fulfilled, like they have everything they could want. if they chose another situation instead of exploring this connection with you or deepening this connection with you, I think they are feeling a little bit stuck with that. I think this person feels like their life is on pause, like they are on pause. They don't feel like they're growing. They don't feel like they're journeying. It just feels like they're kind of sitting in the same place. Maybe this person had dreams or visions for themselves that they didn't pursue in the end, again, out of a fear of change, a fear of letting go, of security and stability. I think there is a strong resistance to change, and they try their very best to stay in the most familiar situations. And I think a lot of this has to do with patterns, the way they behave, the way they show up in connections. I think the way they show up is that they keep a lot of them hidden. And it's not easy to be vulnerable in a connection. It can feel very daunting. It can feel very scary. Yeah, we have the High Priestess in reverse, and we have the Devil. A lot of fears, a lot of attachment to old ways of being, to self-limiting beliefs as well. I think this person has kind of this set belief of what they can have, what kind of life they should live. Maybe they're really bound by certain rules of society. Really attached to certain rules, certain perceptions that essentially feel like hold this person back. We have the Six of Wands. They think you are very attractive. We have the Knight of Wands coming out as well. They think you match in some way. Like you connect on a level that feels very spiritual, even if this person is not spiritual. It's a bit like you see through this person, and they realize that. And maybe that is why they have this extra sense of caution, because they don't want change, and they don't want to see things about themselves that they haven't seen so far. Because that's also new. That's also something they've left unexplored, and it's that it's kind of just, it's coming through as if they would call it acceptance of just who they are, but I think it's just a fear of being anything else than what they have been so far, having anything else than the type of connections they've had so far that are maybe a bit more shallow, a bit more either lustful or logical. Depending on your situation, or maybe a bit of both, but I feel like they prefer situations that are a bit more straightforward, that don't take that much effort to pursue, where they can still essentially remain disconnected and protect themselves because they're not really showing who they are, not even to themselves. I think this person may come through like someone who knows exactly who they are, but a part of that perception seems to come from rules outside of them, beliefs outside of them, things that maybe they've picked up from the society they're in, the workplace they're in. It's like they kind of took already given answers rather than coming up with their own. Virgo energy could be significant with the Hermit coming out, or Virgo season. It's not too far away. Well, the past Virgo season is not too far away if you're watching this at the time I am posting it. We have Temperance, and we also had the number 14 on the Taurus card in the beginning of the reading. And I did call Sagittarius energy already, but could be extra confirmation. They need you to know that they feel it too. This is not in your head, but they're not going to come and tell you that right now. They're not in a place to do that. A part of them wishes they could feel more free. They could feel free to do whatever they want without considering everything and everyone else and how they are perceived. And it's not that they meant to hurt you. I heard someone say, yeah, right. So maybe some of you don't believe this about this person. Maybe it is not true, depending on your situation. But the way it is coming through, there is almost something that is like a mix of, yeah, I acted the way I did, but it's not that I had bad intentions, but I still stand behind how I acted. But I think they feel a lot of doubt when they say this, even though they put up this mask of feeling very certain. I felt a very strong wave of self-doubt. Right in my chest. I think this person is hurting, and a part of them wishes they could talk to you about that, all of the confusion, all of the question marks, all of the things that they can't really answer for themselves, especially if this person thinks you are spiritual in some way or kind of well versed in feelings, maybe psychology. Anything. There is just this sense that maybe you would understand if you truly knew what's going on within them. But I think that has been very difficult for them to talk about and explain, and it's almost apologetic, but also not at all. And maybe that's why this person is so hard to read as well. They seem to go back and forth a lot and have like they are the two sides of the coin at the same time. But you just don't know which side you're gonna get. We have the Three of Swords in reverse. I think they would want you to know that they wish you well. It's not that they have bad intentions or see themselves as having bad intentions, at least. And maybe some of you don't believe this based on how this person has acted, which is completely valid as well. But this person within themselves, they don't see themselves as having bad intentions. They don't want to give you the wrong impression about them. I think they're very concerned. Like it's almost like they would try to explain their behavior to you so that you don't think they have bad intentions, regardless of how this is played out. We have the Hanged Man. Pisces energy could be significant. I do think this person, in some ways, understands that they can't just be stalling, and there needs to be some form of action being taken if they have given you some form of impression, if they have left without an explanation, if they have kind of gone cold on you, but they also would tell you that this is incredibly difficult for them to just say something. And maybe they are bound by external circumstances as well, and not just their own fears of change or rocking the boat or losing their sense of security. I think this person thinks that getting closer to you would jeopardize their sense of security, that you would challenge them, that this connection already has challenged them, and that they just don't want to be challenged. They want to be safe with the work they've already put in, the things they've already achieved, the prestige I'm hearing they've already earned. They would want you to know that they still think about you, that they might even daydream or fantasize and wonder about you, that they wish you well, but I heard it's not as easy as you think. Can we clarify the Knight of Wands? We have the Five of Cups in reverse. Facing you now would take a lot of courage, because they know the first thing they would have to do is apologize for their behavior, especially if they've led you on or been reckless within this connection, even though they are coming across very calculated overall. I think this connection, because it was out of their comfort zone, because it was something that they haven't really planned for, something they maybe don't have a lot of experience with, that they may have been careless, they may have messed up, but it's only because they weren't prepared. So I feel like there is a little bit of a wanting to explain themselves. We have the Emperor in reverse. That they are not as well put together as they try to seem. They don't really feel as fulfilled and successful and valuable and worthy as they may try to appear. There is a part of them that they would want to heal, that they know they would have had to heal in order to take responsibility within this connection. But the fact that they haven't really worked on that, that they haven't really worked on being open to change, being open to making mistakes, being someone that is not perfect. Because I think this person, they don't think they're perfect, but I think they would want to be seen as someone who's always doing the right thing, who's always responsible, who's always in control in some way. But this person, I'm hearing, I'm painfully aware that I'm not in control. And that seems to make this person feel very uncomfortable. I think this is a situation, their connection with you, that is something that they have felt very out of control about, because they don't understand it. It's not clear cut. It's foggy. It's something they have to kind of navigate maybe a bit more intuitively. But this person does not feel comfortable navigating through the heart space, through intuition. I think they are not very connected with themselves in that way. I think they don't really pay a lot of mind to this version of them that is maybe trying to come through, that maybe they have been on the verge of embodying, but they just don't seem to have been able to do that to an extent where they would be able to feel like, okay, I'm gonna get myself together and I'm gonna be honest with pile 1. It's just that I think a lot is coming through about having left you hanging in some way, or feeling like they've left you hanging. They've left a lot of things unanswered. They've left you hurting. And maybe for a lot of you, they haven't even really acknowledged that, or apologized, or shown to you in any way that they understand the way they acted towards you has been hurtful, has not been okay. Can we clarify the 10 of Cups in reverse, please? What does this person... We have the 2 of Wands, and this is the other card I saw when in the beginning I mentioned I saw the Page of Swords. They feel... There is a small part of them that feels a need for change, that would consider reaching out to you in some way, approaching you in some way. I'm really drawn to, I don't know why, but I'm just kind of fixated on this triangle. For some of you, this could be a third-party situation. The past of this connection could have had a third-party situation, but you would already know about this if that is the case, so please don't be alarmed if that is not your situation. But the bottom deck energy being the 3 of Wands in reverse, I think this person, a part of them wants to be different, wants to be open, wants to explain things to you, but they are just not sure of how it would be received, and they are coming through very insecure in that way. I think they try to show up very self-assured. I think they want to be seen as very self-assured, but they feel a lot of self-doubt. They are not happy with their walls up, but they think they wouldn't be happy with their walls down either. It's like they are just finding it difficult to find their place in the world. They may be struggling with their mental health as well. I also get a sense of guilt, but also kind of a debate within them that tries to override this guilt by acting like it's all justified, coming up with ways to justify their behavior rather than looking at it as they can make mistakes. And yes, it's never really that nice to make mistakes, but I think this person is skipping the part where they deal with the aftermath of their mistakes. I think they have a tendency to leave things hanging, leave things undone. And that may come across reckless, but it seems thought out in the way that this person knows that when things get intense, complicated, too deep, they escape. And that is part of the pattern. So that is familiar. That is maybe not something that really falls in the reckless category for this person. But they realize that this energy they're stuck in, it's not making them happy. I'm hearing, I wish we could be friends. We have the 3 of Cups. I feel like this person they would want to tell you that they do feel connected to you. They do feel drawn to you. They would want to be friends at the very least, or spend time with you, because it feels like the chapter that was, even if it has been going on for a long time where you've been kind of circling around each other, it seems like that chapter essentially is done, and this person is changing their focus, and they are choosing to look into the future. Their focus is on the future. But I think they still seem to have a lot of questions that are unanswered. They need you to know that they don't have the answers. They don't have the full picture. But they know they didn't want to make you feel bad. But that they are not who you think they are. They are not who you see them to be. They are not their potential. And when I say this, I feel an insecure tinge coming through from this person. I think these would be very difficult for them to talk about. I don't think they talk about this with anyone. They would want to tell you that it's not you, but it is you in the sense that it would have been easier if it didn't feel intense. It would have been easier if they knew they wouldn't be held accountable for parts of them that they would rather not see or look at or acknowledge. There are things about this person, their own behavior, that they find difficult to accept. And they don't want other people to see that. There are things that this person is afraid of losing. Maybe their status, the view of other people, the way other people see them. They don't want to rock the boat. I'm hearing, maybe I could have done things differently, but I couldn't have done it any better. So there is a sense of them feeling like, or at least thinking, maybe not exactly feeling, but thinking that they did the best with the circumstances that they were presented. It seems like they have felt bound by not just their own mind necessarily, but circumstances outside of them as well. I think there is a part of them that would want to say that if they had the choice, they wouldn't want to hurt you. And maybe for some of you, this doesn't really sound right or sound like what they really intended, but I think that is how they perceive the situation to be. That they didn't have bad intentions, but they could not have taken on more than they already did, than they already are. And this person is, I feel, quite independent in that sense, that they need to look out for themselves, and anything that may be a threat to the way they perceive themselves, to their ego, to who they have believed so far that they are, anything that is a threat to that, it has to go. Because this person, I think, would rather stay in the dark and your light, the light that you wanted to bring to them, the truth, the honest conversations, that would have been devastating for this person. I think it would have felt too bright, too much, too many scary things that were hiding in the dark, too much hiding in the depths that you would have wanted to dive into. We have the Two of Cups, and we have the Tower. They would want to tell you that to them, progressing this connection would have been devastating for the life that they have lived so far. And it does not seem to make this person happy, but they seem to have chosen the same scenario each and every time, to stay where they are. And that is not because of you. I think they see that this connection would have offered something different than what they have had so far. But they are just not built for that. And this is them saying it and not me saying something objective, that they just are not built for that. But I think this person feels that they met you where they could, and anything outside of that has been outside of my control. I feel like there is this constant repetition of, I did the best I could, it's out of my control, it would have been devastating, it would have destroyed everything, it would have destroyed me. So it seems out of self-preservation that they pulled away from this connection, maybe escaped very prematurely, in the sense that maybe you were just barely interacting with this person for some of you, and they just maybe felt too seen, too observed, like it would be too complicated. It would be against the rules. It would be against their rules. The Tower keeps showing up, and we have Death in reverse as the card right behind it now. And the Death in reverse, it can talk about resistance to change. I'm hearing, I just wanted to have a good time. I just wanted to be happy. Is there anything else that wants to come through? What does this person need my pile ones to know? What do they need my pile ones to know? We have the Ace of Cups and we have the Four of Cups. I think this person is aware that you are offering them gentleness, love, nourishment, connection, depth, inspiration. But they had to be with what feels familiar to them. They had to be where things are familiar. But that doesn't mean they're happy. And the sense of them perceiving their own self as unchanging, as unable to change, as change would be devastating, so they don't want change, they're afraid, they're anxious. That is what has held them back, rather than a lack of interest in you. I'm hearing, I met you where I could, I met you where I could, I met you where I could. But in the end, it seems that they wanted to protect themselves out of this perceived sense of danger. That you were offering them the chance to explore unexplored territory, dive deeper, but this person was thinking that they would drown, that they would get hurt by doing that. That is, of course, based on the assumption, and it can definitely be scary to dive deep, to be vulnerable, to be authentic, to talk about our fears, our feelings, and whenever we are being vulnerable, we risk getting hurt. And this person seems to focus on just that, rather than the positives of connecting, the fulfillment you may feel when connecting with not just others, but with the self. I think this person has held back on true connection. But that is a reflection of what has been going on within them, rather than a reflection of what you deserve. It just seems like they they could not, they felt like they couldn't match that energy, that they couldn't pursue that energy because it's just not them. That's what it feels like. So I think this person is coming through as someone who has particular ways of seeing the world, seeing themselves, and they hold on to those very tightly. I think they're a bit closed-minded in that sense, and that seems to get in the way of their own happiness too. And I think on this note, this is all I have for you. We will take it to the extended now, and in the extended, we will get tons of channeled messages from this person to see where they're at currently with this situation, and we will then get a message from your higher self, a significant message about the truth of this connection, and then we will look at the true potential of this connection. I feel like this has been quite intense to channel, so I'm getting a bit like pausey with my speaking, but feel free to check out the link. I will have a better description of what we're actually looking at in the extended reading. And I need a little coffee break, and then I will see you in a little bit at the extended, or if you are leaving me here, that is also perfectly fine. I hope this reading was helpful. I am sending you tons of love. Take care, and bye. Hello, my beautiful pile twos, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking at what the person on your mind needs to tell you, what they need you to know, and anything surrounding those energies. I want to start with an energy check so you can decide if this is the person on your mind or someone that you want or need to know about. And there will also be a extended reading for every group, which I will talk about later on, but you can also find a link and description for that at the link down below. So starting off, we have Apocalypsis, we have the Puppet, the Cosmic Egg, we have the High Priestess, I guess that should go there. We have Lunar Eclipse, the 4th house, Cancer energy, and with the Lunar Eclipse as well, and the High Priestess, so lots of Cancer energy coming through. We have South Node, Life's Debts, and we have the Golden Crown, which is a number 14, which Temperance energy could be significant, so Sagittarius energy could be significant or relevant, also Sagittarius season, but it's just for extra confirmation if you are looking for any. So for a lot of you, this will be someone that feels burdened by their own patterns. I think this person has been becoming more aware of their patterns as time has gone on. For a lot of you, you will have had a very intense connection with this person, maybe certain deaths and rebirths within the connection, meaning maybe moments of separation and then getting back together, falling out of contact and then falling back into contact. A connection that has survived the test of time, the test of intensity, the test of maybe both of you have been afraid in different ways coming into this connection. Both of you have felt like you are being controlled by your triggers. I think this connection will have felt very triggering both for you and for this person that is coming through, but it has also come with a very strong sense of connection and a very strong sense of familiarity, of safety, even though it also feels terrifying at the same time, in the sense that this connection has taken authenticity, it has taken vulnerability, it has taken you to face your shadows, for this person to face their shadows, for the two of you to see each other's shadows. Maybe point out patterns that the other person has, or maybe you've had talks about certain coping mechanisms, certain defense mechanisms, certain self-limiting beliefs that the other person has. I feel like this connection has been one where you've had to face certain fears, certain insecurities, certain anxieties, a sense of maybe feeling like you're not good enough. And I think this is mirrored in this person in some way, where both of you have come into this with baggage from the past. For some of you, you could have also experienced, it could be that some of that baggage was handed to you within this connection, and that has been something you are and you have been working on undoing with this person as well. As for the state of the connection right now, with this South Node energy coming through, Ten of Swords energy, I think a lot of you will feel like you are, well, I could see this being a breakup, a separation, but I could also see you being with this person, going from one chapter to another, or embarking on a new chapter, because I see there is a lot of undercurrent here, a lot that both of you have come into this connection with already. And for some of you, a lot that has transpired between you and this person, but also a lot that has been released, or that is being released, a lot that is shifting, new understandings, wake-up calls, looking for your place in the world, looking for your place in each other's lives, looking for balance, but feeling very intuitively, very deeply connected to each other. Both of you, I feel, have been breaking out of your shells, discovering new things about your own selves, learning to balance being with someone with looking out, well, not looking out, but taking care of yourself. I think both of you may have sabotaged this connection unintentionally, sometimes maybe even having some sense of consciousness over it, some sense of awareness over it, but not knowing how to get ahead of that. At times, both of you may have felt helpless out of the triggers that you felt, out of the heaviness of that fear, of that anxiety, of wondering if things will go right or wrong. What if they go wrong? But I also feel this connection has been something that you have felt deeply rooted in. When it's right, like there is a sense of this person feeling very dear to you. And this is someone who is also very fond of you, someone who cares about you deeply, someone who has also been learning to care as deeply for themselves. I think this may be something you have in common with this person. Both of you have been learning a lot through each other, through each other's experiences too, not just by experiencing everything together, but by communicating. And I think sometimes communication is not that easy because things feel uncertain, and it's easy to feel like you may say the wrong thing, or it's easy to read between the lines because potentially in the past you have had to. And that's why maybe one or both of you came in with the assumption that you have to read between the lines, and you may have the tendency to interpret each other's behavior based on your own subjective experiences, which is perfectly understandable. But sometimes we can forget that not everyone has the same experiences you do. Not everyone has the same beliefs, the same way of seeing the world that you do, and there can be more than one scenarios where someone has good intentions, where someone is doing what they think is right, and these possibilities, these scenarios can coexist. So I think there has been a lot of trying to empathize with each other, even though it is not a perfect process. And I think there have been a lot of ups and downs in this situation. Even if this is someone new, I think it would be someone that feels like you've known forever. someone that feels so familiar to you, a connection that just feels like it should be there. A connection, and I'm not saying should be as in like objectively you are bound to this situation. I think it's that both of you have chosen each other rather than being bound or feeling bound to each other. I think more so you have been felt bound by your own triggers, by your own habits, by your own maybe overthinking, overanalyzing, and I say you're, meaning both you and this person. Again, I think both of you have come into this situation with a mix and match of fears, of hesitations, of doubt, both about yourself and about what other people think you deserve. But I also feel this connection, while it has been destabilizing in the sense of kind of triggering certain things so they can be dealt with, they can come up to the surface and be seen for all that they are, be dealt with for all that they are. I'm just realizing my mug made a little circle here. I don't know if it's visible on camera, but I am just noticing it, and this is the second pile I'm filming, so I didn't notice it in the first reading at all. But it makes me feel like maybe there's a sense of just everything leading back to this person and vice versa, or just being connected no matter where you are, no matter what stage this connection is going through. And sometimes when we repeat patterns, it may feel like we are reliving the same thing over and over again and like we're stuck. But sometimes we don't see that it's actually a spiral and you are moving levels, even if it feels like you're experiencing the same thing over and over again. Sometimes it takes certain repetitions to undo something, to learn something, because healing is messy. It's never a straight line, and I feel like this has been one connection where you've been seeing that no matter how long it has been since you have connected with this person. I could see this being something very long term, like someone you've been together with for a long time, but I could also see this being someone new that has awakened a lot of emotion in you, and a connection that has felt very significant. It doesn't matter how long you've known this person. I think there is a very strong sense of connection, of seeing each other, the good and the bad, the light and the dark, and wanting to keep seeing each other. I think that has been the overall tone of this connection, even if you have maybe both hurt each other, especially if you have history with this person. It feels very significant in a personal journey sense as well. Personal growth, fighting personal battles, helping each other in personal battles. This person, I want to slowly get into what they want to say to you. And I will already start it right now before we get to the tarot. I think this person, my throat is, I'm getting like knots in my throat. I think this person feels very emotional, very emotional. They care about you a lot, and it really doesn't matter how long of a history you have. I was just interrupted by my housemate needing a record store bag. But maybe record stores or records are important. just as kind of a random detail, but and me being interrupted kind of just when I was getting into what this person needs you to know. I think I can interpret that as this person not really knowing how to express themselves, and it's maybe whenever they try to be real, whenever they try to have that real, deep, vulnerable conversation, it gets interrupted, or there's someone else around, or they don't think it's the right time. It just feels like there is a lot they want to say to you, but a lot they don't know how to put into words. So maybe they would rather, sounds like they'd rather sing you a song, or they'd rather send you a song. They'd rather let a song do the speaking for how they feel about you, because they feel they're not going to be able to express the full depth of their feelings, the full depth of connection they feel towards you. Maybe they think you wouldn't believe it. I'm just noticing on the puppet and also on the high priestess, we just have one eye. And it's kind of like the third eye. We also have just one eye here. And then here we have the moon in place of the eyes and some mushroom antenna. A lot of this feels very difficult to explain. Also for this person, that they feel so connected to you, that they feel so deeply for you. I think they see themselves as not being very good with words, but maybe better just with actions, or acting in line with their intuition. So maybe some of their behavior is very difficult to explain on their end, where maybe there are physical obstacles between the two of you, for example. And it doesn't have to be physical. Could be any kind of obstacle, like external factor that runs between the two of you. It's like maybe you wonder, like, why does this person come back to me? Or why has this person not given up? Things are difficult, but why are they trying to make it work? Or they are so afraid, why are they trying? There may be an expectation maybe on your end that this person would give up, but they haven't. And if you are in separation with this person, I think they still are feeling very connected to you. I mean, regardless of whether you are in separation with them or not, the connection here is coming through so strongly that I feel like I can't really make a good judgment on that, because your energies feel so intertwined, so connected, still flowing. Like you're rooted, your roots are connected. That may also mean you have similar values or similar backstories in certain ways, coming from similar cultures or the same exact little town, something along those lines. It doesn't have to be that, though. They would tell you that sometimes they just feel terrified of losing you. A part of them doesn't believe they ever will, but another part of them is terrified that they are wrong. And they know, of course, that if they really mess up, if they really hurt you, I heard again, so maybe for some of you there is already some complicated history here. If they hurt you again, they know they could, but they think they never will, because they just can't. That's kind of how it's coming through, like in bits and pieces, in hopes mixed in with beliefs about you. They only have eyes for you, even if you wouldn't believe that. And not just eyes, but their hearts. It's just with you. They think they've been stupid at times. They think they've really messed up. They think sometimes they still mess up. Sometimes they still shut down. They get scared. But they are learning. They are growing. They're becoming better at seeing their patterns. They're becoming better at identifying where they went wrong. They're becoming better at identifying where the triggers come from, understanding that sometimes it's not even that you did something wrong or you scared them, but it just reminds them of a past situation. They're becoming better at differentiating between their past experiences and current energies, what's in front of them currently. And maybe you've had the same with this person, where I just feel like both of you have experienced a lot of growth with each other, a lot of depth, a lot of exploration, a lot of spiritual adventuring, even if that's not what they would call it. They feel so drawn to you. They think you are so complicated. Sometimes that feels frustrating to them. But they love spending time with you. They think you are so beautiful. I'm not going to show you this card, but we have the Three of Cups, and I'm not showing it because YouTube will be angry. They feel like they can't really show you the full depth of their emotions because they're not good at explaining themselves. They're not good at communicating things. They want to show you, but they don't even know if they have been or are able to show you how much they care. But they try. Maybe they craft things for you, or they have. Maybe there is something about building something. Maybe this is kind of a metaphor for building a future with you. They dream of that. They dream of family with you, of everything culminating into stability, of getting past their fears, getting past limitations, blockages, things that slow this connection down. If you are in separation with this person or in any form of distance, they miss you. Like, they want you in their home. They want you around more than you are now. Even if you're around them a lot, I feel like they want more of it. They know they've hurt you, and they still are racked with guilt over that. They know they can't really excuse it. They know they've hurt your trust. Or, if you don't have history with this person, that they are afraid they will hurt your trust because they've seen the effect it has had on you. They think you are so strong. They look up to you in wonder sometimes, but their own patterns, their own defensiveness sometimes makes that difficult for them to express that to you. They feel controlled by their fears in certain ways, and that is very frustrating. That is very annoying. They think you're so much better at kind of putting things into words, but they sometimes think you are avoiding them too. They can see that you're afraid sometimes, and they don't want to scare you. And they don't want to push you too far. They want to respect your space. They respect you. They admire you. They want to protect you. They want to protect this connection. You inspire them, you motivate them, but they also feel intimidated. Not because you are an intimidating person, but because there are certain truths about this person that they find difficult to see. They know sometimes they can be very hurtful. They know sometimes they can come across reckless. They know you've met people like that before too, and they don't want to be like that. They want to get past that, but sometimes it just feels so difficult for them to do it. It's almost like they are saying this with so much frustration for themselves and the patterns that, the fears, the anxieties, the self-sabotage, maybe shutting down, maybe avoiding when things get difficult. But they hold you very dearly. They are so fond of you. They care about you so deeply. They want to protect you, but sometimes they feel like they have to protect you from themselves, and they don't like feeling that. They don't want to feel that. Sometimes they want to protect you from your own thoughts, the way you might fill in the gaps when you don't have full clarity over maybe what's going on with this person or about any other situation. They don't want to hold you back, and they don't want you to hold yourself back. And they hope they never will be something that holds you back. They hope they aren't something that holds you back right now. I'm going to put these cards away so that we can get into the tarot now and continue this conversation. So I'm going to give this a proper shuffle now. I probably shuffled it a few times already while I was speaking. I honestly don't really remember very well when I channel it. But yeah, what I'm looking at becomes a bit of a blur. What I'm doing becomes a bit of a blur. So let's see what comes through for my pile twos, please. What wants to come through from this person? What do they need to tell, pile? We have the Seven of Swords, we have the Two of Swords, Judgment in reverse, and we have the Eight of Cups. They are afraid of losing you, and if they have walked away, they think that is the wrong decision. That was the wrong decision. If they have at any point walked away from this connection, or if they have not, this is coming through then more as a fear of losing you. They have this fear, and yet for some of you, they have acted like they don't, or they have acted in a way that they didn't really, in hindsight, they don't think it was right. If they have hurt you, I think this person is ashamed of it. I think they feel very guilty about it. I think they're angry at themselves, and they feel like they have also somehow avoided telling you everything they need to tell you about that, about their behavior, that they don't find it okay, that they know they've hurt you, but they never wanted to. And they know that doesn't excuse it. Okay. Four of Wands in reverse. The Six of Pentacles in reverse. The Eight of Swords and Death, Scorpio, and Aquarius. I don't remember if I mentioned it anymore. You bring magic into their life, and they want to fix their mistakes. They know better now, and they hope to always know better, but they also think that's maybe not realistic because they know they still get triggered, they still get afraid. They don't want to give energy to things that separate you, that keep you at a distance. If there have been things that they've been committed to, that they've been giving energy to, maybe a job, maybe they wanted to move, but they don't anymore. It's like they want to move, they want to do things that bring them closer to you. They want to act in ways that bring them closer to you. Because it feels like they feel they've been giving to things that have brought the two of you apart. And these things could be fears, but they could also be solid commitments. And they don't want to give to things that bring the two of you apart anymore, that create distance between the two of you, physical or emotional. We have the Four of Cups, this time in reverse. Can we clarify the Seven of Swords, please? If they ask for space, or if they have asked for space, or there currently is space between the two of you, they use that wisely. They use that to make sense of things themselves and come to terms with how they're feeling, to understand themselves better, to maybe cool off and calm down and feel more grounded. They don't use that space to run from you. They don't use that space to do sketchy things. They want you to know that their policy is honesty, and that they feel they know what they want in this connection. But they've been scared of making the wrong choices, of doing the wrong things, of not being able to predict how things will play out, and then ending up doing the wrong thing. Again, I'm hearing again. So maybe this person is still a bit haunted by their past, or by the past of this connection, if you have a past with them. I think for a lot of you, there is a past here between the two of you. We have the King of Pentacles in reverse, where they feel they've disappointed you. They haven't been fair to you, and they haven't acted in a way that sits right with them either. They've gone against that sense of safety and security between the two of you. And they still think about it, but they think they are that person no more. They hope they are not that person anymore. But they feel like that has made you a bit more hesitant towards them, a bit more doubtful. And alternatively, if you don't have history with this person, it could be that they feel your past experiences are currently manifesting as a blockage in the way you are willing to connect with this person. But I think for a lot of you, they feel they've done something that has maybe made you shut down, made you feel hurt, made you disappointed. Disappointed is coming through very strongly. They have disappointed themselves too. Ten of Pentacles, Nine of Wands. They dream of a future with you. They are committed, but they're hurting at the same time. They feel confused. They feel inadequate in certain ways. They're quick to judge themselves. They're quick to feel shame. They're quick to feel guilt, even if they don't really reflect that easily on the outside, even if they don't just talk about it. Ideally, you would just look at them and understand everything, and sometimes you do. Sometimes they think you do. But at times they find it very frustrating to try to explain how they feel. But they have been growing, and they have been seeing you grow. It's almost like this proud smile. I was just smiling and I realized I must look proud right now with this smile on my face. So I feel like this person feels quite proud of you and your progress within yourself, maybe with self-love and compassion. Maybe you've shared a lot about this journey with this person. I think they've seen you or heard of you being hard on yourself, and I think they don't wish that for you. I think they especially know because they are very hard on themselves, and they know that it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It's a heavy weight to carry, having a negative inner voice that is just always with you when you go to bed, when you take a shower, when you're just walking, when you're trying to focus on something. And it can be difficult to set a boundary with that. And I feel like if that is something you experience, they hope you can see how wonderful you are, how inspiring you are, how beautiful, how much they admire you, how healing your presence is, how soothing your presence is. But they also see that that takes you being at peace with yourself too. And that sometimes you are just not. I think this person has maybe seen sides of you that feel less grounded within, more fearful, more anxious, and they want to support you in any way they can, but at times they don't know how to do that. They think some of it you have to figure out for yourself, but they're there. They're not going to ever judge you for wanting to prioritize yourself either. If that is something you want or consider, like if you feel you have to always be focused on this connection, it may trigger them for some of you if you want to take some space for yourself. If that is something on your mind, take it as it resonates. But I think they would understand. I think this person understands that both of you have the tendency to become kind of spooked. But they still envision a future with you. They still involve you in their future plans. They still want to if you allow them to, if you would allow them to. They want to do what they can. They want to try for this connection. Is there anything else that wants to come through for my pile twos? I heard I love the way you dance. So maybe you've gone dancing with this person, dancing in the kitchen. We have the Hermit in reverse. You are not alone. They don't want you to feel alone. More so, they don't want you to feel lonely. Because they want to be by your side. And they see their behavior has not always reflected that. They see their behavior sometimes is coming through as the opposite of what they want to do. But that's because they They feel so scared. Sometimes they feel like they lose control, like fear takes the driver's seat and not this person anymore. And they want you to know they are trying their best to not be consumed by that, to still have sight of what it is that they really want and what really matters to them. They're trying to be brave. I think they would want you to know. They want you to know. They're trying to be brave, but sometimes they are scared still. And that may feel a bit daunting for them to admit. They know things have to change because this connection doesn't feel like it's in the exact right place to this person, at least. So maybe you are in separation, maybe there's a conversation that needs to be had, a level up, a sense of being at a threshold, or just things not being fully grounded right now in some sense. So maybe in practicality, there are still some things to figure out, or some chapters to close for some of you, maybe outside of this connection too. I think they would also want to tell you that at times they feel a bit insecure about how you see them and how you feel about them. And especially if they've hurt you, why you would stick by them. I think that is something they've tried to answer, but they maybe can't seem to answer it. I think the fact that they can't answer it is something that makes them hesitate, and again manifests as a fear of losing you, of you walking away, of you waking up to the truth of what has happened, to their actions, and changing your mind. I think there is a bit of a tinge of that. Is there anything else that wants to come through for my pile twos from this person? Anything else that wants to come through? They care about you so much, so much. There's so much emotion and it all feels tangled up together. All right, I guess that is all that there is to say for the main reading. I will now take this to the extended, and in the extended we are getting tons of channeled messages from this person that is coming through. We will get a message about the potential of this connection, the highest potential, and we will finish off with the truth of this connection, a significant truth about this connection from your higher self, and anything else that may come in. The extended for pile 1 was quite long, quite a lot going on, so we will see how this one plays out. But anyway, if you are meeting me there, I will see you in a little bit. If not, that is perfectly okay. I hope this reading was helpful and that it resonated. I am sending you tons of love. Take care and bye. Hello, my beautiful pile 3s, and welcome to your reading. We are going to start with a little energy check to see if this is someone you want to know about or need to know about, or if this doesn't sound familiar to you at all, feel free to choose another pile or another reading as you wish. But yeah, first we will do a little energy check, and then we will get some tarot to look at what they want to say, and there will also be an extended that I will talk about at the end of this reading. So starting off, we have the stone, We have Rainbow Bridge. We have the Moon, Cancer or Pisces energies or season could be significant, but it doesn't have to be. It's just for extra confirmation if you are looking for any. We have the Spider, Animal Spirit, the 10th house, Capricorn energy, Masculine, Neptune, Sacrifice, some more Pisces energy, and we have New Chapter. This card, I didn't even shuffle for it. It just fell off the deck. While I was shuffling the rest of your cards, I wasn't even really touching this deck, but I suppose I bumped into it. And this card came out both like flipped and in reverse. That gave me the sense that there have been some promises in this connection that this person did not follow through with. And there was a certain expectation that they gave you, I'm hearing allowed you to have. So maybe this person has said some things, done some things that gave you a certain impression as to what to expect from them. Maybe more so in the beginning of this connection, that they were showing up a certain way that seemed maybe more promising, that may have seemed like there was a lot of potential. And I am speaking in past tense because for a lot of you, I think this is going to be someone that you are in separation from or at a distance from in some way. There seems to be some form of emotional distance between the two of you, regardless of physical distance. There seems to be some walls up, some guards up, and it seems like this person has maybe not been entirely forthcoming with you, not been entirely honest with you in some ways. I feel like it doesn't have to be that they've lied outright, but I feel for some of you, they just didn't give you the correct impression about what they want from this connection and what they are able to give to you, what they are able to provide to you. And in your absence, because for a lot of you, I think you've pulled your energy away from this person, especially with the Rainbow Bridge and the Stone and the Moon coming out, really. There seem to be a lot of unknowns between the two of you, some gap in communication or honest and authentic communication at the very least. This person feels like getting to you at this point is a risk because you are coming through a bit untouchable, a bit too distant for them to feel safe enough to come to you, because I feel there has maybe been a cycle here where you have self-sacrificed your own needs, your own boundaries, maybe bent your boundaries for this person for the sake of making them feel comfortable, for the sake of sustaining this connection. But it seems like this person did not or was not able to match that energy, match that kind of energy, that kind of expectation. They seem to have felt overwhelmed and maybe sabotaged this connection in some way as a result of that fear that came up. And this fear, I think, has a lot to do with intimacy, with truth, with vulnerability. And when I say truth, I mean that this person will likely have been a bit spooked by the accountability you expect from them, the level of accountability you expect from them, that you hold them responsible for the consequences of their actions, that while you have given them a lot of forgiveness, a lot of understanding, a lot of generosity, it is not endless, it is not limitless. And I feel like this person has maybe really pushed your boundaries, your limitations, and done some things that really were unfair, that could have felt very hurtful, very painful, that could have felt very heavy coming from someone especially that you put so much hope into, so much that seemed so promising. And for some of you, this could have been a third-party situation, but if this is the case, you would already know about it, so please don't be alarmed if this is not part of your situation. I don't mean to trigger you or worry you if this is not something you don't already know about. But I get the sense that there has been an expectation here of starting something new with this person, of them maybe having changed, having grown, having understood that they hurt you. Because for some of you, I feel like this person hasn't even really come forward and said, I take responsibility for my actions, or I understand I hurt you. I feel like even maybe these things that seem simple, that seem straightforward to you, this person has found ways to avoid taking accountability and responsibility. I think that's not because they think you're not deserving of that. I think it's more so that doing that would mean they were wrong and they did something wrong, and I think this person sees that as opening the door to a lot of negative perceptions about their own self that they essentially feel the need to protect themselves from. And I think in this case, that has meant either running from this connection, running from accountability for their actions. Even if you were offering them a conversation, I feel a lot of you will have tried to confront them or get an explanation from this person about their behavior, but for some of you, this person could have ghosted you, could have just walked away without a clear explanation, or could have given an excuse as to why they are showing up the way they are in this connection. I feel like a lot has been said, but not a lot has been done or followed through with in this connection. So for a lot of you, I think right now, maybe you've set a boundary with this person or planned to, because they seem to have confused you. They seem to have breadcrumbed you, for some of you, not given you a straight up answer. Maybe some of you felt replaceable or like an option because of the way this person was behaving. It almost feels like this connection would have maybe shaken your sense of self for a second there. And I think these are not energies to underestimate. I feel like you have harnessed a lot of the weight of this connection and a lot of the consequences of this person's actions. Like, you have faced the consequences of their actions. You have dealt with the energies that resulted maybe from this person not taking responsibility. Maybe you tried to take responsibility for both you and them, or you've maybe tried to convince them to take responsibility, convince them to show up a certain way, but it seems like it eventually fizzled out, and it almost seems like a bit of an intervention that you were burning out, and now with a bit of distance, while maybe the complicated energies of this situation are not resolved, there is room to breathe. I think this person still feels drawn to you and your energy, but there is, I'm hearing misuse. I'm not sure what that refers to exactly, but misuse, something. Maybe they misused your good intentions, your level of understanding, that you were being so understanding towards them, their behavior. You were empathizing with them. Maybe even, and it seems like this person would have gotten comfortable in this pattern because it seems to have in the end required not much effort on their end, because you were you were taking on a lot of responsibility, so they didn't have to. They could just come along for the ride. And I'm not saying this to like blame you or pin this person's behavior on you or anything like that at all. I think this is just someone who prefers the easy way, the whatever they can get easiest, whatever they can get from the smoothest path. I think this person has wanted to take that. And I do think it's not a coincidence that the two of you may have felt so drawn to each other. I think you may have been drawn to kind of the mystery of this person and the potential that you see in them, that maybe you saw them hurting and you knew they could grow from that, they could move forward from that. I think this is someone that came into this connection with a lot of emotional baggage. I think you did too, but you had different ways of handling these energies, this weight. I think this person has kept holding on to that and has been allowing themselves to be slowed down, to be crushed by that wave. And you, on the other hand, I think wanted to move in a different direction, wanted to lighten that weight. And that mismatch in direction, I feel it maybe caused too much friction in the end and led to some form of separation here. And a lot of confusion, a lot of answers that you were hoping to get from this person, but didn't. I think they felt too out of control in this situation. And they found it difficult to put their trust in something that they cannot control. Because I think this person is afraid of loss, is afraid of hurting, very afraid to the point where they can't bring themselves to be vulnerable. Vulnerable enough to connect at the level you may have wanted to connect with them to. And this is not to say this connection wasn't impactful for this person. I think it actually really was, but more in the sense of feeling the loss of this connection and what it feels like to lose a genuine opportunity of connection. There is a sense of guilt that is coming through, and I don't think necessarily that they would want to tell you this, but I think you should know that I think this person does feel your absence and your loss. And I don't mean you should know this in the sense that your emotional state needs to be dependent on what this person is feeling. Not at all. But maybe this was something you were wondering about for some of you, which is perfectly fair. I think this person has been feeling off, for lack of a better way of putting it. I think they haven't really identified why they feel off, but I think it's that sense of loss of control, that they have lost you, something they didn't think they would, they didn't expect to, something they said they maybe didn't care as much about because they wouldn't allow themselves to. But I think a lot of this was just talk on this person's end, because with the spider energy coming through, I think this person is actually quite, like, it's like they got tangled up in your energy more than they expected to. They got tangled up in this situation more than they expected to, so they can't help but be affected by the changes in this connection, by the loss, by you pulling your energy away from them. They are affected. I think they feel the weight of that, the weight of your absence, which has maybe left them with a lot more to carry now because you were helping them carry that baggage before. I think for a lot of you, this person will have moved away from this connection to start anew elsewhere. But the undercurrent, the sense of connection, it's not that they've gotten over that. It's not that they've gotten over you. But let's get into the tarot and see what they need to tell you or what you should know. I'm hearing, I know you have a good heart. This is also one of the messages in one of the message collections that I have. For my pile threes, please. For pile 3. What does this person want to say? What do my pile threes need to hear from this person? We have death in reverse. This person feels a bit defeated, and they feel defeated by their own actions, by their own fears, by their own anxieties, by the sabotage, and when I say sabotage, I'm referring to ways in which this person may have caused disconnect in this connection out of fear of what deeper connection would imply. Fear of intimacy, a fear of you seeing parts of them that they are not ready to see. Because look at the way these cards are coming out. We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I think they're kind of, they don't want to, but they're beating themselves up over how they acted in this situation. They're trying to keep up this I have everything figured out, I know what I'm doing kind of energy to them, but I think they actually feel very lost, and they feel the loss of you, the loss of this connection. And they feel it very strongly in a way that makes them feel out of control. I think this person feels very uncomfortable right now, but I think they're trying their best to look away. We have the Queen of Wands. They admire your strength and the way you've carried yourself through the chaos that they have brought. They know you carry a lot of light, but they haven't been comfortable sitting in this light. They are, I'm hearing a creature of the dark, which, okay, okay, a creature of the dark. And it's not that this is an objective fact, right? It's not that they don't have the opportunity or the potential to experience reality differently. It's not that they have to hide all the time. It's not that they must. It's not that they have to, but it's more so that they choose to hang out in the dark, in the shadows, where they can't be really seen, and they can kind of control what others see and know about them. And I think they hold back because they are afraid of rejection. If someone knew the true them, maybe they would think they're not likable at all. And again, this doesn't have to be an objective truth about this person at all, but more so that I think they are coming from a very insecure place. We have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. I think this person struggles with their self-image, how worthy they think they are. I think they are very harsh with themselves. And I'm not saying any of this to justify any way in which they may have hurt you, but it's more so to take a look at why they may have acted the way they did. And I think looking at this, it's very clear that it is very internally generated. It's very self-focused as well. I think this person has been selfish in this situation, but I also think they feel they had no other choice but to be selfish. They were obliged. That's what they seem to look at it as. And I'm not sure if that is the real truth or how you see it. We have the Chariot. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Seven of Wands. Letting go of this connection was not something this person actually wanted, but it was something that they felt they needed to do. It was because they were afraid, and all of these fears, all of these predetermined facts about themselves that they hold on to so tightly. And I think that is to maintain control over what situations they get themselves into, because if they are overly careful with what they share, with how vulnerable they are, then they are just that little bit extra protected. I think that's the idea behind it. Kind of put it into more simple terms. I think this type of mechanism is what has been driving this person. And I think while it is not your responsibility to heal this person, I think you have offered them a hand to be there for them, to do it with them, to encourage them, to motivate them, to help them find direction, to keep them out of situations they don't want to be in, mindsets they don't want to be in. But I think this person turned their back on that opportunity. We have the Page of Cups in reverse. They think they've been immature. They realize that, and I think they are a bit ashamed of it. They feel like you were the bigger person in this situation, but I feel like they wouldn't want to say that because already they feel small. So it feels like if they would say that, they would feel smaller. I think this person deals with a lot of negative self-talk, but I think they just try to be deaf to that. And while doing that, I think they become a bit blind to their own behavior and the consequences of it. It's not that they're not completely unaware, but I think this person tries to act more logically than emotionally. But if anything, it feels like they are acting from a more emotional place than rational place. We have the Knight of Swords. I'm hearing, I know I've lost you. I know I've lost you. I think you meant more to this person than what they have shown. We have the King of Swords. I think they have tried to come to terms with the consequences of their actions by rationalizing everything, by saying, this is what I had to do. There was no other way. There was no other way it could be. This is how it was supposed to be. This is what needed to happen. But I think part of them doesn't really believe that because they see their own role, that some of this, that the way this played out has come from them refusing to connect, but more so working against the connection in some ways. I think even in doing that, they feel a bit out of control, that they are completely influenced by their emotions, but it's almost like they haven't known any other way to be. I think this person is very conflicted as to what to do, where to go, if they should approach this situation, if they would even have a chance, if they would even be acknowledged, if they can even be vulnerable without putting their guard up. I heard, do I regret it? I regret it. They think you didn't deserve the treatment that they put you through. But they also think they're not brave enough to admit that out loud. Barely even to themselves, let alone to anyone else. Some of you may have been waiting for an apology from this person that never came, an explanation from this person that never came. I think a lot of this, they also can't explain to themselves why they feel so afraid of connection and why they run at the first sign of intimacy, the first sign of responsibility, of real commitment. We have the Moon in reverse, the Lovers in reverse, the Five of Wands in reverse, Justice in reverse. This person would say, this is just how I am, this is just how the world works for me. Take it or leave it. That's what I'm hearing, and I can sense the energy having all of these, like, it's like we're walking through this person's mind, their world, but there's just so many walls up everywhere you go. Like, you see a little glimpse of a little something. I feel so consumed by this energy right now. Like, consumed as in I feel very in there. Kind of zoning out, just staring at the wall right now. I can't move my eyes away from that one spot. I think they like to distract themselves, and anything they don't want to see, they just build a wall around it and leave it there. So even they don't see it anymore. That's what it feels like. I think that's why they push people away too, so that no one can really see how they really feel, how sometimes they feel weak. They think they're weak sometimes. They see themselves as very small. And it seems like they've locked away parts of themselves while trying to build this certain image, this mask of being strong, of being in control, of having everything figured out. I think this person finds it very difficult to accept that they don't have it figured out, and I think they feel very disconnected from their own self as a result of this, because they've been hiding parts of themselves, and I think they wanted to hide parts of themselves from you because that takes vulnerability to be authentic, and this person does not seem to have seen it in themselves to be that level of authentic, to be that level of honest. I just saw the Ten of Swords in reverse. I think it has been painful for them too, but that is pain they have not allowed themselves to feel. It almost seems like someone has taught this person, or some experience has taught this person, that emotions like pain are weakness. And that connection is weakness because it makes you vulnerable. And I'm not at all, we have the Four of Pentacles, saying this as an objective fact. I mean, I disagree with this very strongly. even though I can understand that it takes a lot of vulnerability to have a deep connection, to be authentic, to mess up and then admit you messed up and then try to do better. That takes a lot of accountability, a lot of vulnerability, and for our ego, that can feel very difficult, that can feel very heavy. And we have to actively choose to go against that. And I feel so far this person has not, especially not in this connection. They have found it difficult to own up to their own behavior. We have Judgment in reverse and we have the Star in reverse. Yeah. It's almost like seeing the truth of it makes them feel very bad about themselves, and that's what they're trying to avoid. But I think deep down they already don't feel very good about themselves, so they look for external things, opinions, to make up for that instead. I think they're dependent on that. And I think in some ways they have been dependent on this connection, but they have the mindset that they can't really depend on anything else, not permanently. And I think that's why they avoid real connection. Push it back once it gets too much. Move away once it gets too much, because it hurts this person. And they think this is just their fate. This is just how it is. And I think they find it very difficult to see outside of that perspective. Is there anything else that wants to come through for my pile threes? Anything else that needs to come through? I think you intimidate them. They're impressed by you. They admire you. They respect you. But they haven't really acted like that. They haven't really shown you that. I feel like they've made you feel the opposite. But I think you also maybe understand this person a bit better now and are able to see the full picture a bit clearer than you may have been in the past. For my pile threes, is there anything else that wants to come through? Otherwise, we are going to the extended. All right, I think this is all I have for you for the main reading, and I will be taking this to the extended now, where we will start off with some channeled messages from this person. Then we will get a significant message from your higher self, the truth of this situation, something you're not seeing, something you need to know, kind of an open line for anything that needs to come through. And we will look at the true potential of this connection, regardless of what is happening right now. If you are interested, the link is down below. If not, that is perfectly fine. And I will already say bye to you. I hope this reading was helpful. I hope it resonated. I am sending you tons of love. Take care and bye.